subscribers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you on how to carry out Topographical Information System (TIS). These are the basic steps you need to follow if you want to carry out topographical mapping using your ArcGIS. Alright, in a situation whereby you have your XYZ data, you've carried out a survey of a land and you want to carry out the topographical information system, these are the basic steps you need to follow in order for you to be able to attain that. The first thing is for you to import your XYZ coordinates that was saved with your Excel CSV command delimited format to ArcGIS, and you create a shapefile such as a point, line, polygon, and the point is definitely for tree. I'll be using the point shapefile for tree, the line shapefile for road, and the polygon for boundary. Then I'll define the coordinate system for each of the shapefile that was created. And the next thing is we're working with my symbology and label tools. Then after that, I'll generate dem raster from point shapefile, and then I'll generate contour from the dem. After that, I'll prepare my map. Alright, just watch me through the video. Alright, this is ArcGIS from the step that was listed out the other time. The first thing is for us to import our XYZ data. For you to be able to get that done, what you simply do is you come through your file here, you click on file, you click on add data, and you come to this place, add data. As you can see here, we have two different add data. You can see the first one, add data. This add data is not for XYZ, while this is for XYZ. Since we are working with XYZ, so I will be using this add data XYZ. That particular other add data is probably you want to add a shape files, you want to add a raster map and some other things, but this is particularly for coordinates. If you want to add your XYZ coordinates, you can use this add data XY for that. And the other thing you need to note is that your coordinates you must understand how your coordinate is arranged. Each of the columns must be well known. Like for this, my XY now XYZ, my X must be my easting, my Y must be my northings, and my Z must be my height. So that is very important for you to be able to get it done. So the next thing is I'll click on this folder icon and select the data I want to import. So this is it, XYZ coordinate.csv that was saved. And the first field is my number ID, the second field is my easting, the next is my northings, and this is the Z, the fourth feed. So after that, what I'll do next is to set the coordinate system for that particular data by coming to this place, edit, and I will come to my projected coordinate system, or peradventure you already know the projected coordinate system for that particular data, you already save it as your favorite, you just select it here. But if you are here to do that, what you simply do is you have to understand and take note of your coordinate system. Your coordinate system is very important towards your mapping. If your coordinate system does not correspond with what you are doing, it's going to be telling you that spatial reference is not identified. So you have to define the coordinate system rightly. And for this particular coordinate system, this coordinate system is under projected coordinate system. So I'll click on the drop down, I'll click on the plot beside the projected coordinate system, then I'll select UTM. Alright, under my UTM now, I'm going to come to Africa, and I'll select this coordinate system for my work because that is the allotted coordinate system. Alright, this is the coordinate system that was saved as my favorite. So for you to be able to save a particular coordinate system as your favorite, all you have to do is to right click and you click on how to favorite. You can see because it has been added to favorite, that was why it's not displaying here. And that is how to add a particular coordinate system to your favorite. Then you click OK. As soon as you said that, you can see it's coordinate system. You can click on show for you to be able to display your coordinate system, and that has been done. Then I'll click on OK. So you click OK again. So here we go. This is the XYZ data of the topographical survey that was carried out on the site. Alright, the next thing for me to do is to come to my layer here, and I'll right click and I'll click on data here. So I'll come to this place that says export data, and I'm going to click OK, and I'll click yes. Alright, that has been exported. So now this particular data, now I'm going to remove that because I've exported what I need, and this is what we are going to be working with. So the next thing for me to do now is, under this place, what I'll simply do is I'll come right click and I'll click on properties. This is the properties. So we have the labels. This is the symbology. This is the labels, and this is the label features in details. Label features in this layer. So when checking the label features, and my fifth field that was not shown was the details of the data. You know, when I was importing the data, it was showing just 4 fields, and that was field 1, 2, 3, 4. And this particular fifth field was the details, that is the serial numbers, the easting, northings, height, and the details. So by the time I check in this fifth field now, and I click on apply, all you will see is it's going to display the details under your screen. You can see now these are the details of that particular data. These are the details, and if you want to turn it off, you go back there and you turn it off. Alright, so the coordinate has been imported. Well, the next thing for me to do is to create shapefile, point line, and polygon. Alright, under this survey got easier, I'll create a new folder inside it, and I will name that particular folder as I'll name it as ABC. So this is it here, ABC. It has been named as ABC now. So under this ABC, I'll click right click and I'll click on new. So now I'll create a file geodatabase for this particular folder. Now I'll create a file geodatabase for my folder. Alright, so coming to my file geodatabase now, I'll click on file geodatabase, and I'll name this my file geodatabase. I'll name it as ABC. So now under this my file geodatabase, now I'll click on new, then I'll click on feature class. Alright, I'm going to name this as building. I'll be creating the shapefile for building first, and the type of features class is a polygon features, and I'll click on next. Alright, then I'll select the coordinate system. I'll define the coordinate system for that particular feature class. Since I already saved this coordinate system under my favorites, all I will simply do is to select this coordinate system instead of me coming back to my projected coordinate system and defining it from the beginning. But since I've saved it, I'll select it, then I'll click on next. Alright, then I'll click on next again. I'll click on next again. Alright, under this field now, if you want your building to contain a name, all I'll simply do is I'll click on name now. I want the building to have a name, so under this data type, I'll select text. I'll be dealing with text, and this place here under the length here, I can change this to 100 so that it's going to allow me to have more values. If the name is very long, I will be able to work with 100 values, 100 length of word. Like if I make changing this from 50 to 100, we'll be able to contain more values, and that is that for that. Another thing is if I still want to go further, I want to add more feet to this particular buildings now. Peradventure, I want to give this building now maybe color. I want to let it have color, so I'll just give it color. Then I'll select text as well. If you want to add more feed, you can add more feed as much as possible. Then I'll click finish. Alright, this is the shapefile features class for my building now. It has been added to the screen, and the next thing for me to do is to come back to my file database. I'll right click on it and I'll click on new, then I'll click on feature class. The next feature class we'll be creating is for road, and the features to be selected is a line features, and I'll click on next. The coordinate system must be set as well. Then I'll click on next. Alright, under this road feed now, peradventure your road you need to add feed to it. Maybe you want to define this is a major road, a minor road, an highway. You can definitely do that under your feed. You just give it classes, road classes or categories where necessary, then you click on finish. And this is my features class for road. And the last thing we'll be working with is, I'll come back to this place here and click on new, then the feature class. This feature class now is going to be tree, and for my tree now is just a point feature. I'll select point features. I'll select the point features and I'll click on next. Then I'll select my coordinate system. Then I'll click on next, and I'll click finish. Alright, that has been done. So the three features class has been created, such as tree, road, and building. Alright, the next thing for me to do now is to bring in the boundaries of this data that we'll be working with. I'm going to bring in the data, the boundary of this particular topographical data in now. So for me to do that, all I'll simply do is I can either come through this add data, or I come through the place we used the other time that says add data, and I'll click on add data. You can see we are using the other add data now, not the previous one we used. So this particular one, boundary, now we can input boundaries into this. Then I'll click on add, and this is the boundary. The boundary has been added now. You can see it on the screen. By the time I turn off the, you can see now this is the boundary. By the time I turn off the whole data XYZ, you can see this is the boundary now. Peradventure you don't have your boundary, like you don't have the boundaries of this particular data, and you already know how through the details you can pick the boundaries on the screen. All you have to do is to create a shapefile for your boundary. You just come to this place here, you right click and you create a shapefile for boundary. You make it a polygon features, and you digitize out the boundary in such a way for you to be able to identify your data, to be able to demarcate your data. Alright, the next thing for us to do now is to digitize our features. So starting with my buildings now, you can come to this place here under the building and change the color. Under this field color now, you can just select any color of your choice. Let me make use of orange for my buildings. Then I'll click OK. So you can see it has been changed on the screen now. And for the road as well, for the road now, for road, I'll be making use of black for my road. I'll click OK. And for the tree here, I will be making use of, when you scroll down here, you can see some icons that looks like trees. You can see, let me make use of asterisk 2. Then I'll click OK. Alright, so now everything has been properly set. So now the next thing for us to start the digitizing. So we'll start with my building. So all I'll simply do is to select the buildings and I'll right click. Then I'll come to this place, edit features. You bring your cursor to your edit features and you click on start editing. Alright, as soon as you click on start editing, it's going to bring out this place for you, this create features. In a scenario whereby it does not show on your whole system, all you simply need to do is to come to these icons here. You can see create features and you click on it, it's going to come up. Alright, so now I'm going to select, I need to move this up a bit. So now I'll select this building now, that is I want to digitize the buildings. Now the buildings is on the screen now for me to be able to digitize out my buildings. To do that, these are my buildings on the screen. I will come to my editor and I'll click on save edit and then stop edit, and the road has been fixed. And the last thing is the tree. The last thing from this particular data is the tree now. So just watch me through something. I'll be showing you something that you can definitely do to, in a situation probably you want to extract your data out of the data that was supplying in. You want to digitize the data that you're supplying in. You want to digitize the features out from the general data that was supplying in. So just watch me on what to do now. And this is it here. This is the raw data. You can see this is the raw. This is the layers that contain all the data, both the points, the buildings, the road, everything. So that is data. Now we want to extract out our trees from the data in a situation where you don't want to digitize. Maybe you have a lot of features of trees from your points and you want to digitize out that particular tree from the data you have already. What you simply do is you go through the data now. So under this data, you right click and you click on open attribute table, and this is your attribute table now. Let me enlarge the screen so that you can see boldly. And this is my attributes table. Alright, so we need the trees now. We want to digitize out the trees, and when I'll check it through the feed 5 now, which entails the details. So we have the trees here. You can see this is the trees here. So what I'll simply do now is under this place here, I'll select the trees, and you can definitely query this tree here. You can definitely query that. I'm still going to return back to this place and I will carry out query. So I'll be sharing with you on how to carry out query also. So as soon as you select this particular tree, all you definitely do is to click on this your feed. That is, it entails all the details. So this particular trees that was selected out of the whole data, that is, you are dealing with this tree, is going to be, the software is going to understand that you want to export out your data, the tree data. So you close this place here, but it has been selected. Then you come to this place, you right click on it and you click on data, then you click on export data. You can see now these are the trees. This is the trees here. You can see it has been selected because that was what we worked on. Now under this place, you click on the folder that you can see output folder. So I'll select my output folder. So my output folder now is, we save this particular output folder as ABC. So I'll be selecting my folder ABC. That is where I want what I want to export out to be saved. Then I'll name this as tree export.shp, that's shapefile, and I'll click save. Then I'll click OK. Then you click on yes, and the tree has been exported. So let me uncheck this now, and let me uncheck this. So under this particular general data now, by the time I will uncheck this, it has been off, and you can see now this is the tree here, and this is the one we just checked in. You can see now this particular tree that we just exporting now, the whole data was digitized automatically. It has exported the data since the software has been able to identify the XYZ, and that is why we are having it on the screen. This was the initial shapefiles that was created for this particular tree. So in the cases whereby you don't want to take your time to digitize the tree house one after the other, you can simply follow this other step I used. So now on this tree that we now have here, you can definitely you can change the icons, you can change the logos to what we select the other time, and you can see now it has given us what we have. So this particular one now, we can delete it, and that is how you can extract data from the data that I was supplying in. So in a cases whereby I don't want it that way, all I'll simply do is to delete it. I'll remove that, and the one that was created initially, I'll click on this my data now, and I'll digitize out my trees now. So I'll select this, and I'll right click, and I'll click on edit features, then I'll click on start editing. Then I'll select my trees under this drop down menu. Now I'll select my trees now, and these are my trees. These are my trees. You can see tree, 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 tree. Let's check if we have any other trees. You can see here we have a tree here, and I'll come to this place and I'll select tree. And that's the reason why we have to query most times when you are dealing with this particular data. That is why you have to perform query, because the list of these particular trees was all together, but the one that was there was far away from it, and that was why we were not able to locate it. But if it peradventure we carried out query, that is, this software should query trees for us, is going to query the whole data, and I'm still going to be showing you on how to carry out query as well. So the trees has been digitized now. Then I'll right click and I'll come to this place, I'll click on save edit, and I'll return back there and click on stop edit. Alright, so now when we check this, when we turn it off now, we already have our features class now. The features class has been created now. We now have our buildings, we have the road and the tree. And this particular tree now, peradventure you are not satisfied with the size that you're having, you can definitely reduce the size. You can reduce the size if it's something that you feel it's just too big. You can see now the size has been reduced. The next thing for us to do is generate them from point shapefile. Now we'll be generating a them from this particular data that we're supplying in, and how do we want to achieve that? all I'll simply do is to come to the general data that we input in our XYZ data, and I'll right click on it. I'll click on open attribute table. Now under this field here we have add feed, and this is the places whereby you can add feed to your data. Under the place I was creating shapefile, features shapefile that we had feed the other time. Peradventure you don't want to add feed to your data from that place, you can definitely add it from here as well. Now this is our attribute table. Now this is our attribute table. So now I want to generate our then from this data now, and we have a lot of information under our feed 5. So under this our feed 5 here, the data we'll be working with is our PT, and that is our point, our topographical point. Now we are going to carry out query for this particular data. We are going to carry out query for this particular data. As you can see now, if we should select this particular PT now, you can see we have some details after it. You can see now we have some details after it. We have some details. If I should select this, it's going to select some other informations with it, but the best thing for us to do is to carry out query. Now for me to be able to perform query, now what I'll simply do is I'll click on this select by attribute tables, and this table is going to come in site. So now for the feed 5 here, what I'll simply do is I will double click on this feed 5 here, and then I'll press equals to. Then under this equals to, now I'll click on this get unique values now, and I will scroll down to the details of what I want to query. I will scroll down. So as soon as I double click on this PT now, it's going to appear here. Then I'll click on apply. You can see now this PT has been queried, and that is how to perform query using on ArcGIS. So this PT has been queried now. You know, before, if I want to select it now, it's not going to select, it's just going to select it here, and if I should be selecting it manually, I'll have to select everything. But because it was queried, it neglects the one between this space and just query the information that I have under my PT. You can see now these are the informations that was queried for my PT. You can see PT there, PT, and by the time you come to your data now under your screen, when I check in, if I should turn on my data now, you can see these are the informations that was queried. You can see those are the informations that was queried, and that is what we'll be working with. So that is what we query now. So moving this back to where it is now. Alright, so this particular PT has been queried. Then the next thing for me to do is to select the whole of this feed 5 now. That is, the data I only need is the data that entails the PT. That's the meaning out of this feed 5. Then I'll close this and I'll close this. Then I'll come to my output now, and under this my output, I'll click on data just as we've done before. I'll click on export data. Under the export data, I'll select this location icon here, and then I'll name this as contour. Then I'll click on save. Then I'll click OK. I'll click yes. So that has been extracted. That's on that. Alright, the next thing now for me to do is in a situation whereby you want to give the buildings name, you want to name your buildings, maybe you want to show buildings name. All you have to do is you right click, you select the buildings, because we opened a field for our building the other time. So you select your buildings now. You click on open attribute table for your buildings. Now under this open attribute table, you can see this is the field that was created the other time. These are the field name and color. And in some cases whereby you want to add more field to it, If you don't want to add it from the initial place that we added the field, you can come to this place and you click on add field. So if you just give it a name now, maybe size of the buildings. If you want to add size, you add that as well. Under this place, short integer, you can use long integer for it. Then you click OK, and that has been added. So now this is the table for our buildings now. Then you come to this place here, you right click and you click on edit features, you click on start editing. Then as soon as you click on start editing, and this is the first buildings, you can see it has been selected on the table. Now this particular building, now you can give it a name. You just select it. Maybe you want to name this as store. Then I'll press enter. That has been named as store. And then I'll select this. I can query it from here as well. This is another one here. This one. So this is the next one. This peradventure, I want to name this particular buildings. I want to name it as 1. So the next one is to be selected. When we move up, this is the last one. Let me name this as SUG. I'll select this and I'll name it as SUG, and that is SUG building. SUG building BLD. And then the remaining two now, this, let me name it as store 2. Now for the color as well, peradventure we have different colors of each of the buildings. Maybe this is yellow. I'll just name this as yellow. Sorry, we are not working with that. Let me delete that. So let me say this one is yellow. Peradventure, this is yellow. This is blue. This is red. And this is green. Now for the size, now I believe you can see the size on the screen. Let me just write the size there. This is 100. This is 110. This is 125, and this is 135, 131 SQM. Yeah, also just integer. Okay, we only use integer, we did not use text for that, so it's not going to allow us to put any text values. It's only integers. So, and as soon as you are done with that, you can close this place here. Then under this place, you right click here and you click on properties. And you click on label. So peradventure you want the name to be displayed, you just click on name, and as soon as you click on apply here and you click OK, you can see now the names of the building has been displayed on the screen. You can see office 1, store, SUG building, we have store 1 and store 2. And peradventure you don't want the names to be displayed. Peradventure you only want the colors to be displayed, or you want the size of that particular buildings to be displayed. Maybe it's the size you want to be displayed, you select the color. If it's the size that you want to be displayed, you select the size of the building and you click OK, and you can see the size has been displayed. And that is how to show the details of each of the features that you had fit to. So that has been done. Then you click on save edit and you click on stop edit. Alright, so let me uncheck this. Now these are the contours that was just created for this particular data. Now these are the contours that was created. Now the next thing for us to do now is to utilize our search, GIS search buttons For us to be able to use that, if you don't have it on your screen, you can come to this window here and you click on this search. Now under this search, now you can see local search. What I'll simply do is I'll press interpolation. So we'll be carrying out interpolation now. So I'll press interpolation, then I'll press enter. Now we have interpolation, and the interpolation we'll be dealing with is raster interpolation. As you can see, we have interpolation toolsets and some other things. We have raster interpolation. So you select the raster interpolation now. Under the raster interpolation, we have various methods for carrying out an interpolation. We have keygree, we have nearest neighbor, we have spline, we have topo raster, trend, spline with barriers. So but I'll be making use of nearest neighbor. So I'll select nearest neighbor as my interpolation method. Contour has been selected, so I'll click. The contour has been selected, so what I'll do now is to click OK. Now you can see now it's already creating the raster image for the contour, and the raster image has been created. You can see now the raster image has been created. So all I will simply do now is to bring the raster image up now, so you can see this is the raster image for that particular data, for that particular area now. Alright, so now on this particular raster image, the next thing for me to do is I'll search under this place here. I'll search under this page, and then I'll press contour, then I'll press enter. Alright, so you click on this contour 3D analyst, you click on it, then you select the raster shape file, and this place here is 0.5, here is 0.1, then you click OK. So here you know the color of contour is brown, so you just change it to brown, then you click OK. So it has been changed to brown. Now the next thing for us to do is all the informations, all the data that is outside. You can see the contours is outside the boundary. So for us to do that, what we do is to clip the contour inside the boundary. So for us to achieve that, you come to this place and you press clip. How to clip a boundary into your features into your job. So you use this clip 3D clip analyst. This clip analyst, you use this clip analyst, you click on it, and then you select your contour, and then you select for the input features, you select your contour, then you select the clip features. So the clip features is our boundary, and that is our boundary polygon, and you click OK. So that has been selected. So now you can see as soon as I turn off the contour that was done before, and this was what we clipped, so you can see now it has fit into the boundary, and that is how to carry out clip as well. And that is all about topographical information system. So for the page background layout, title, legend and other things, you can just watch my videos for that. I have videos on that. If you found this video helpful, do want to subscribe to my channel, comment, like and share. Thank you.